Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to have a quick look at a young Banksia tree here, and we're going to see what other species we can find. There are heaps of different species. I'm not exactly sure how many, but I'll add a comment in later on in the video so you can see. Here's just one example of one of those trees. Now these trees are located all around the coastal areas of Australia. As you head inland you won't find any unless they're planted in someone's garden. Now these trees have many uses. For one, seed pods are edible, so once they are in seeding you can come up and have a look at the pods inside. You can put them next to a fire and they'll open right up. Now they can open by themselves, but that's only if they dry out enough. With Australian plants you have to, well, most of them will only seed during bushfires. That's why it's an important part of Australia to have them regularly to help the plants produce more. Now once the open seed pods are said, you put them next to the fire and you roast them in the hot coals, or it's also a good idea to have some of this leafage with it as well. That way when it burns, the smoke also helps activate and open the pods as well. Some of the uses they can be used for is when they're in the flowering time, which before they come to these seed pods they'll flower, which you can collect a sweet nectar. Best time to do it is in the morning before the sun actually evaporates all the moisture out. Some other uses, they are good for, let's say you want to move camps but you don't want to have to go through the effort of lighting a new fire. So what you can do, you can set a flame inside the the brush of this, and it'll help burn and slowly smoulder for a long time, so that you can transport your fire to a different campsite a lot easier. Some other things that are useful with this tree is in the bark, and all in the wood you'll get edible grubs. It's also a good plant for woodworking, as it has a real nice texture to it. If you look it up, you'll also find that out of the seed pods, once they dry out, they actually would turn and make handles for tools out of it as well. Now the easiest way I've found to identify if you've got a Banksia tree is if when you have a close look at the seed pods after they've done flowering, is have a very distinct design to it. All of them have very similar looking seed pods. Some of them will be like really bunched together like this one, or each one's still together, or you get ones that are bigger again but more spaced out. Now when they come into the seed pod, these little remnants of the flowering part will fall off and it'll just leave the actual pod part itself. And this is the easiest way I know how to identify if you've got a Banksia species, because there are a fair few different types with different leaf structures. As you come closer to the bark, you can see it has a very nice reddish orange tinge to it, which is what makes it very good for woodworking and making little handles and all bits and pieces.